As we told you, this is the time where we focus on all your personal finance segment. Harshvardhan Roongta is our expert for the day. And Harsh, the last time we spoke, we discussed Medi-Claim policies. Now the question today is that if you could elaborate a bit more on that. How does a person decide whether, they should go ahead for individual policy or perhaps a family floater plan? And what are the costs which are associated with each of them? And also, along with that, if you could, maybe give some examples of two typical families, one a young family and another one with older parents, and illustrate which one works better.
Well, Prima, let's first understand an individual Medi-Claim policy is one in which each individual member of the family has an independent cover for himself. Say we take a 5 lakh example. So each member is covered for 5 lakhs for himself. Whereas in a family floater policy, a 5 lakh is a floating cover given across to all the 4 members of the family. Now we'll take this. Let's take this with an actual example. We have a family of, say, a husband, wife, aged average 40 years of age, and kids and 2 children who are below 18 years of age. An individual policy for a 5 lakh cover for each member of the family independently will cost about 18,300 rupees plus service tax. Now, a family floater, which means the 5 lakh cover is common floating across all the 4 family members, will be about 15,500 rupees plus service tax. So if you notice in this example, the family floater policies are cheaper by about 15 to 20%. But the point to be considered is that the cover is floating, a 5 lakh cover is floating across all the 4 members of the family. So what is the implication of this? It is that if any one member of the family is hospitalized and say consumes 3 lakhs of rupees of the cover, there is only a balance of 2 lakhs left for all the 3 other members of the family to be utilized over the next for the next year.
But Harsh,
for the rest of the year.
Well, Harsh, just to counter that point, could it not be argued that even though we take Medi-Claims for every member of the family, at least in my personal experience, not all of us go to the hospital in a year or sometimes in years. So doesn't it not make sense to have it for all of us? And it floats. At the most, only 1% really uses that kind of money. So would not the family floater therefore make more sense? All 4 never go to the hospital. It's not been my experience.
No, absolutely right, Lata. See, there are certain instances where you will notice that they're very rare in nature. Like if there are family traveling together, meets with an accident, so certainly all of them will be hospitalized. Now, my point I'm trying to make is if the difference is not very large in absolute terms. Now, if you notice this example, the difference is 2,800 rupees per annum. Now, it may 15 to 20% may sound large, but if you take in absolute terms, it is 2,800 rupees per annum. Do you want to save that 2,800 rupees and jeopardize the option of having independent cover for each member of the family? Now, there are other points as well. There are other points. The premium in a family floater is computed keeping in mind the eldest member of the family. So in this particular family setup, the premium that the kids are also paying is computed based on the parents' age. Now there was another question Rima asked, that what if we consider taking a family which has aged parents. Now imagine if you're insuring your parents who are in your family floater, including them, if this couple which is 40 years of age includes their parents who are 60 years of age. So the entire group pays the premium considering the age of the 60-year-old member in the family. And the likelihood in such a scenario of an aged member being hospitalized is very high, certainly considering that age has caught on. So the entire family will be left without any cover. So the point, to sum up in one line, is that if the difference in the premium is not very large, in this case it is 2,800 rupees, it would certainly make more sense to go for independent cover and be rest assured that even if in the rarest of rare cases where the entire family, because of some illness or some waterborne diseases, with the entire family is hospitalized together, you have independent covers without any effect on the other members being hospitalized. Furthermore, smaller other points is that there is a no claim bonus given if any one member has not made any claim. His cover enhances by another 5% the coming year. So 5 lakh cover in the next year would become 5,25,000. But these smaller benefits are also not available with the family floater. So my suggestion would be, again, just to reiterate, if the difference is not great in absolute terms, please do consider an individual Medi-Claim policy. And otherwise, if you think that the difference is really large, an individual could possibly look at a family floater also.
My question was not that the cover is large, it is just that it remains unused in my case most of the time. And therefore, if it is, the option is one of the four will use it, the chances of us using it is slightly higher in the family floater case. Wouldn't that be the case?
Well, Lata, for a Medi-Claim policy, if you have a cover and you make a claim, it's a very good. I mean, you have to thank God. And if you have a Medi-Claim policy and you've not claimed it, you have to thank God even further. So it's a situation. You should be happy that you've not used your Medi-Claim policy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I take your point. You're buying peace of mind, not necessarily that you have to fall sick. Let's get talking to a person who had questions. All right, we don't yet have the caller. We should be getting a caller in a minute. Do we have Bablu Seth from Rajkot joining us? All right, Bablu ji, go ahead. What is your question?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
My parents are retired now, and they have a Medi-Claim policy. But we feel it's not sufficient given the rising cost of medical treatment.
Okay, how much is the amount?
It's around 2 to 3 lakhs.
Okay.
And I would like to enhance this cover.
Fair enough.
Also, my wife and I already have a health insurance policy, but we do not have any pre-existing illness.
Okay.
So should I continue my parents' existing policy with enhanced cover, or we all should include in a family floater plan?
Fair enough. Over to you, Harsh. What would you advise him?
Well, Lata, my suggestion would be that his parents are covered under an existing policy which is in force for some time now. I would recommend that he continues with the same policy, and in case he since he feels that it is insufficient, he needs to apply for a higher cover. He goes to the same company and he makes an application for increasing the cover. Now, what he needs to understand very clearly is that the pre-existing ailments that his parents have currently will be excluded only for this enhanced limit, not for the entire policy. And in case there is no claim that they make in the next 4 years, then even the pre-existing ailments will be covered. So my suggestion is that he maintains separate policies, as there is no distinctive advantage of adding them into his policy, and apply for an enhanced cover in that same insurance company for them.
All right, Bablu, you got that? Any follow-up questions? He's asked you to keep it separate. Okay, Bablu is hung up. So that's the advice, to stay separate in this specific case for the parents having a Medi-Claim policy. Harsh, thank you very much for joining us with those details.